What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So you saw a few of them in the thumbnail and you saw the title. That's right, we're talking about some designer releases from this year that are pretty good, but I wouldn't consider among the best of the designers released this year. Your opinion may differ. I'm not saying anything bad about these fragrances. I just think there's a lot of stuff that's come out so far this year that is, much more to my taste and my liking, because to me, the ones we're featuring in this video aren't even among the first or second best in their own line. So if I don't deem you upper tier in your own fragrance line, how could I deem you as one of the best upper tier designer releases of said year that you came out? So you see where my logic is on this one. So we're going to hurt some feelings because, oddly enough, a fragrance opinion can hurt someone's feelings. It's kind of strange. Please don't let this upset you in any way, shape, or form. It's just my opinion. I do like all of these fragrances, but we're going to dive into them. Stay tuned. Starting off with a big over-the-top golden case PR package that I got not that long ago, that initially I got sent a lab sample bottle, large decant of, for PR, which was a little odd, and then ended up getting the large gold package of Azzaro Forever Wanted Elixir. Now, yes, this is a good fragrance. I know there's a lot of people that are like huge fans of this. And yeah, it's good stuff, but I don't put it over any of the three most wanteds. I put it among, which some of you still believe, and feel that Wanted by Night's the best they've ever done. And look, it's amazing. It's kind of fabled at this point. It's heralded as one of the better designer date night fragrances ever. I put it, on par with that, which for me is the middle of the line, because I like all three most wanteds the most. The black bottle being my favorite, the Parfum the second favorite, probably. I go back and forth between the EDT Intense and the Parfum. Last year's release being most wanted EDT Intense, very fresh and powdery, while still being sweet. But this spicens things up a bit. That cardamom, it's a little fruity. Sweet, spicy, fruity, a little woodsy and ambery. It's a really good fragrance. Again, I have nothing bad to say about any of the fragrances we're going to be discussing in this video. I think they're that middle tier. They're really, pretty good, not great type of thing. Like that, you won't see these in my top 10 designer releases of 2025 at the end of the year in December. Again, good stuff. Gonna wear it from time to time. Gonna recommend it in certain situations. But I don't know. I feel like they could have did better, especially with a name like Forever Wanted Elixir. Bottle's cool. Arguably the best looking bottle of the bunch. This gold mirrored. You can still see through the glass in the bottom. It's nice. It's really nice. I just think it's not their best work. So, pretty good, not great. As far as designer releases of 2025, we are talking about Forever Wanted Elixir from Azzaro. One that I grabbed immediately from overseas. It's a limited release from this year, because they do that in the Boss Bottled line. We're talking about Boss Bottled Bold Citrus. Again, another one I quite like. Really good springtime type of fragrance, because it's super juicy, bright citron and a lot of leafy green patchouli. It's very green. Like, this bottle is very fitting. It's not bold citrus, though. I think it's not the appropriate name for the fragrance. It's more bold patchouli with some citrus. It's basically a patchouli fragrance, but it's on the fresher side of things. It's a great daytime wear. For those that like a beautiful citric opening, but dry into that leafy green patchouli that's not too dirty and earthy, not over the top creamy or chocolatey. It's not that type of patchouli. It's very approachable, very easy to wear, patchouli dominant fragrance. A little bit of woods, doesn't really have much of a musky tone to it. Not the sweetest fragrance, but it's fresh meets a little earthy and green. It's very nice. With all the different elixirs that have come out as of late, Absolute last year, there was no chance they were topping that with this fragrance. Boss Bottled Absolute, Boss Bottled Elixir, Boss Bottled Triumph Elixir, hell, even Boss Bottled Parfum. The previous 4 Boss Bottled releases before this, I put all of them above it, which doesn't make it a bad fragrance. It's actually quite nice. Boss Bottled Pacific. That was the last limited release we got in the line. That was amazing. That's really good. I put it on par with that, but not as good as that. This is, again, like, kind of in the middle of the road, maybe above middle of the road for the Boss Bottled line, because there's just so many fragrances that have come out over the years. But if you get an opportunity to get it at a really affordable price, go for it. I paid a little over $100, which was right below retail, right when it launched. But I did have to pay international shipping. It was around $20 FedEx. And I waited like 2 weeks for it to come in. I haven't seen it stateside yet on any of the typical sites I shop at. So, look, if you end up not getting it, I promise you, it's not the end of the world. But if you like grabbing the Boss Bottled flankers, you're probably going to want to grab it. And spoiler alert, no Boss Bottled DNA to be found. They've been getting bad about that. They're just kind of putting stuff in a Boss Bottled bottle, good or not, and shoveling it out like Boss Bottled Absolute. Doesn't really smell like Boss Bottled. Boss Bottled Parfum? No. The Elixir and Triumph Elixir? No apple pie. No apple pie to be found in those fragrances. And the same thing here, but it is a good fragrance, just not a really good fragrance, just not their best work. It's not great, in my opinion. It's Boss Bottled Bold Citrus. Next, we've got Fresh. Honestly, I rank it last. There's 4 Le Beau fragrances at the recording. This is the EDT. This is chronological order. The EDT, the Le Parfum, Paradise Garden, and Flower Edition. And Flower Edition is not bad. It's a good edition. I'm still waiting on Le Beau Elixir. That's what I'm waiting on. Jean-Paul Gaultier, that needs to be release number 5. It's time. You gave me 2 Le Male elixirs already, which Elixir Absolute, that's in my top 10. I prefer it to Le Male Elixir and Le Male Elixir Absolute. I need Le Beau Elixir next. This isn't a miss. It's just not as good as Paradise Garden. It's just not as good as Le Beau Le Parfum. It's just not as good as the original, to me. And they don't list the coconut, but you still smell that coconut water smell. And I had somebody argue with me when I first did the video. There's no coconut. They don't say coconut. Now, I know you can't believe your own nose. That's great, sir. But I can trust my own and understand the DNA in which I'm dealing with, and it's a coconut citrus DNA. And you definitely smell the coconut water. Now, the floral here is violet leaf. And it's a little bit more flowery than just having violet leaf would lead you to believe. It's a little green. Kind of like borrows some of Paradise Garden's DNA here without the hefty ginger. It's pretty good. Again, it's a good release. I'm happy to have it. I bought it immediately from Jean-Paul Gaultier's website. I don't regret paying retail for it at all. I love this line. And it's a really good fragrance. It's just not even the second best fragrance in its line of 4. It's number 4 out of 4 in my opinion. So naturally I got to put it as, these are good, not great releases for the year. This is that mid-tier that's going to pile up as the year progresses. Sample first if you get an opportunity. If you just collect all the Le Beaux, yeah, you're naturally going to gravitate to it and get it. It's supposed to be a limited edition. How limited, I don't know. I'm happy to have it. But yeah, if you get an opportunity to sample it, definitely do that first. It's Le Beau Flower Edition. And finally, and honestly, I think my favorite of the bunch, we got 4 fragrances in this video. I kind of saved my favorite of the bunch for last. And I haven't given it a full wearing yet, and I think that's why it's got room here. I've only done a couple of test sprays. It's actually a 2025 release. We actually got 3 men's releases from Carolina Herrera so far this year. 2 in the VIP Black line. This is 212 VIP Black New York Rodeo. Now, what's different about this one is it's an absinthe bomb. If you don't like absinthe, that limey boozy accord, you won't like this. It's got this nice like designer leather goods type of leather accord. Saffiano is the note, the oil's name. Think Prada purses and Coach and belts and wallets and that type of designer leather smell, fresh leather, that brand new designer leather. You get that with, they don't list the vanilla, but I still smell the vanilla of the DNA with a little bit of that licorice smell that it's known for, the star anise, spiced licorice, candied kind of smell. With absinthe, it's on the fresher side. It's fresh and limey meets spicy sweet leather. It's a fresher leather, not a super fresh leather. Like, I don't think it's the best summer fragrance option, but I think it might be okay in the summer. We're not quite there yet, but springtime weather. It seems like it's going to be fine. I'm going to be getting it in my rotation this week. Actually, pretty much, I like it. The problem is this came out too. This is 212 VIP Black Elixir, and this is a top 3 release of the year for me. For me, it smells like 212 VIP Black with a whole lot more spice. Spicy, spicy version of 212 VIP Black. I love it. This is amazing. It got overshadowed in its own line in the same year. So it's like, they can't both be the greatest, right? What's the likelihood of that? Possible, but not probable. And in this case, it doesn't quite measure up the same. Again, it's a taste-driven type of thing, but interesting bottle. Has the stars risen on the glass and everything. It's a really nice fragrance that I would encourage you to give a shot, because I'm sure not too many people are going to talk about this one. I grabbed it on a whim, didn't even realize, oh, they had another 2025 release in this line. Saw the notes, and I was like, interested. So I grabbed it, and still interested. I like it now that I've tried it. I like it, don't love it. Again, the problem, they released the Elixir at the same time frame, and it's just way better. The Elixirs usually are really good. And that's the case here. So, the best of the bunch, if I had to choose one out of these 4 to keep, it's probably this one, because it's the most interesting to me, even though we have a Beau flanker, and which normally you would think I would say that, but sample, sample, sample if you get an opportunity, guys, because you may be missing out on some of these, and then again, you may feel like me, where you're like, they're pretty good. I don't necessarily feel like I had to add them to the collection, whereas my situation is a little different. I review them, so adding them to the collection for maybe a very different reason than you might be. But as far as just pure enjoyment, they're all pretty good. They're just not the best of the bunch in their own lines, and not even like number 2 in their own line. Like the original 212 VIP Black, 212 VIP, 212 VIP wins. I put all of those ahead of this one. So this is like middle to bottom. It's a great line, but like closer to the bottom of the middle for its own line. So sample it if you get an opportunity. You may end up really liking it, because it is a really good twist on the DNA. It's just not their best work. Carolina Herrera, 212 VIP Black, New York Rodeo. So I just have those 4 for you today, guys. That's the 4 of the new releases. Like I have the new Polo 67 EDP en route. It's heading this way. Scandal Intense, probably going to be buying next week. What other one am I, like I'm trying to grab, I typically grab most of the designer release. I have Coach EDP, Coach for Men EDP, en route, channel member sending it my way. He didn't like it, wants to pass it along. We're going to be checking out that. So constantly checking out the new designer releases every year. It's like my favorite thing to do year in and year out, is check out new designer releases. It makes the collection ever grow to where I'll never finish bottles of anything ever. But I get to explore new things and talk about it with you guys and find some gems. Because, I mean, like I said, who's talking about this? It's just going out on a whim. It's like, oh, that's new. Let me give that a shot. I like the line. So I'll have links down below if you do want to check any of these out. I appreciate you checking out the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe if you leave. We'll see you in the next one.